So it's like 2 a.m. and I had the urge to work on this commentary because I've been putting off getting this video out for nearly a month at this point, and we're approaching 6 weeks out. Like, the whole idea at the beginning of this was it was going to be a prep series, so I at least want to pick it back up for now, do what I can right now. And today we're going to get to take a look at the end of the previous block, or at least the one that, we started the series off with, because at this point we're just kind of doing installments, whatever, like whenever, like those Netflix series where for whatever reason they'll do like part one and part two of the same season. This is pretty much that, dude. Um, but so today, gonna cover the end of the previous block. We ended up hitting 749 on deads, which we'll see in a second. 639 squat to come after that, and then rounded off the fifth week with a 407, 408 bench attempt, which was kind of rough, kind of frustrating, but it is what it is. And yeah, life goes on. So as things currently stand, I just wrapped up another training block. Things were supposed to be on the more conservative side, so made sure that that actually happened. All the caps were pretty chill. Didn't take out any, or didn't hit any PRs over the course of the block, except for a bench PR, which was according to plan, so that's just fine. And we're currently about a week out from doing like this unsanctioned meet here in Houston, and then 6 weeks out from the Texas State Champs. So I'm definitely starting to kind of like lock in a bit more, just on the mental note, thinking about competition. Finally checked out the roster to see, like how many guys I'm competing against and what their numbers are, because I just kind of have always done that. I don't know, it's kind of nice to at least know your competition ahead of time on some like art of war, respect the enemy, whatever. I don't know. Um, but going forward, I would definitely like to maybe take a run at like one of those paid PA meets, which it seems like there's been quite a few of. So maybe that'll be like Q3 next year. Have fun with that at 105, and who knows beyond that. Now, as for the topic of today's video, why are you doing this? Why are you powerlifting? Why are you doing anything? Let's talk about at least what I believe my why is, and maybe how that might help you find yours. So here lately, like I'm 25 now. I've been doing this for a minute. I've had some friends who like I started with and are still currently lifting in at least some capacity, and I've got other friends who really aren't anymore. And like we're all growing in different directions. But I think the reason that I'm still going has a lot to do with kind of why I still go, just why I got into the sport initially. Overall, I just kind of want to see how far I can go, see what my limit is within the sport, and go the distance per se. So we're going to bring Rocky into this because, original Rocky movie, 1976, fantastic film. So when we look at Rocky as a movie, and even the Creed series of movies that have come based off of that, we see, like these cool training montages, these crazy fights, like all these moments where it's just like, get up, keep fighting, whatever. And I think more of how, I guess, my why relates to this movie comes from a scene where, he's not like fighting or training. He's just talking about like the outcome of what could come from the fight that takes place in Rocky 1 with Apollo Creed.
Yeah, it don't matter, because I was nobody before.
Don't say that.
Oh, come on, Adrian, it's true. I was nobody. But that don't matter either. Because I was thinking, it really don't matter if I lose this fight. It really don't matter if this guy opens my head either. Because all I want to do is go the distance. Nobody's ever gone the distance with Creed. And if I can go that distance, seeing that bell rings and I'm still standing. I'm gonna know for the first time in my life, see, that I weren't just another bum from the neighborhood.
And so the night before, he goes to talk to Adrian, and he says, even if I don't beat this guy, I still went the distance. Now, like, I'm paraphrasing, so don't like crucify me if you just absolutely love Rocky. But going the distance is kind of my goal at the end of this. I just want to be able to say, yeah, no, that was the absolute most I could handle, and that's where we stopped. But trying to get to that point, trying to go that distance is a lot less finite than it is for Rocky, because his goal is to just last all the rounds with Apollo Creed, because no one's really done that. But powerlifting, especially with how it is now, we're seeing a lot more people enter the sport and become ridiculously strong and hit all these crazy numbers and take out records, and even take out people who have been in the sport and really dominant in the sport for some time. And when I say that, by no means am I putting myself up at that top level, like trying to say that I'm a part of that conversation. I'm just saying that I want to see how far I can go. If I end up in a position where I'm competing against someone who's at the very top like that, then, fantastic, because I'm not going to sit here and act like I haven't worked hard, or act like I haven't done anything like semi-notable or just at least half decent within the sport. But, there are people in the sport who are insanely strong, and it would at least be an honor to get to the point where I'm now head to head, and all of the time that's been poured into this has paid out in some way, shape, or form. And at least for me, that payout would look like competing at the highest level, whatever the highest level I go to may be. But answering the question of why are you lifting can be different depending on the individual. Like, some people just want to have kind of like an activity that they can do and progress in. Sometimes the case is that they just want to spend time with your friends, and you don't realize it initially, but then you get down the line, you realize, like, oh, I'm not really into the lifting part, I'm just into the hanging out. And then we've got people who take like 15 minutes in between sets, not throwing too much shade, but like, who you are. The reasoning can be different. It's not really something where your reasoning is owed to anyone. I just feel like in order to avoid complacency, you need to know, what are you doing this for? Like, what's on the line? Going back to kind of my reasoning, I just remember being in high school and, starting to go to the gym, but needing some kind of like structure or a way to at least measure my progression. And as someone who's always just been interested in the numbers side of things, like, that's why I got the engineering degree, that's why I do data analysis now, powerlifting seemed kind of perfect, right? Because we objectively can see the growth of our numbers across the board. And so in finding like programs that allowed me to kind of push myself in order to see that progression, I was like, okay, this is cool, I'd like to keep doing this. And now having that structure has extended beyond, just trying to see the improvement in the gym to, taking care of nutrition in a certain way and monitoring the amount of steps that you get or the amount of sleep that's gotten, all with the end goal, at least, to positively contribute to how training goes. Now, if your why isn't so much competitively motivated or competitively skewed, then, I can understand, I guess, less involvement or less of a need to keep track of certain things like that or take care of certain things. Because at the end of the day, like, what you're putting in is what you're going to get out. So if you're just there to have fun, then cool. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. I just feel as though it's important to know why you're doing what you're doing and really have an understanding about it. You don't have to lie to yourself. You don't even really need to explain your reasoning to anybody else. But if you do want to talk about why you're doing it, like, write as much as you want in the comments. Like, I'm gonna read it. Would absolutely love to have some level of discussion on the channel instead of it just being me like shouting into the abyss. So that will do it for this week. I will hopefully have another Into the Block video to throw up next week because we just wrapped this one up, and then on top of that, maybe we'll be able to talk about the unsanctioned meet coming up on the 14th, which that should be fun. I've still not had the opportunity to use deadlift bars, so this will be my first time. And yeah, hopefully I can walk away with some money too, because it's always nice, man. But yeah, that'll do it. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, like, do all that. Appreciate everyone who comes up to me and they're like, dude, where are the videos? Dude, I was watching your video. Dude, something about the videos. And I guess before I completely wrap up the video, I am now approaching like the 1 year mark on posting online, or posting on YouTube anyway. And it feels kind of interesting to see how much I've been able to accomplish in this amount of time, considering that like there was a good chunk where I just straight up wasn't putting anything out. Like I was more focused on school, but now school's kind of in the rear view and it's really just work. So being able to dedicate more time to this is pretty cool. And you know, at the end of the day, obviously I'm not taking it crazy serious. Like this isn't how I'm gonna make a living right now. Like, dude, we got the 9 to 5, we're chilling. But I'm definitely curious to see what the numbers could look like about a year from now. And with all that being said, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, do all that. Please do feel free to write in the comments just about why you're powerlifting, or I don't know, something that's keeping you going in some aspect. I don't know. I'm really curious about people's sources of motivation because I'm not gonna lie, man, like sometimes finding out what keeps other people going kind of keeps me going. And yeah, anyway, thanks.